For today's project, we are going to be aerospace engineers and build a Stomp rocket. Our rocket uses air pressure in our bottle when we stomp on it or hit it to launch and propel our rocket up into the air.
Now that we know what we're making, let's go over our materials. For this project, we're going to need one PVC pipe, 6-inch length, 1-inch diameter, one rubber tube, 4-inch length, 1.25-inch diameter, 3 large popsicle sticks, one piece of printer paper, and one water bottle. Once you have all your materials ready, we can start building our project.
We will begin with using one of our sheets of paper and our PVC pipe to create the body of our rocket. Roll the piece of paper around the PVC pipe using the longer side of the paper, like this. And tape it so it's not too tight. I've pre-cut some tape. I'm just going to use it right here. If the body of the rocket is too tight, just untape it carefully and make sure to unroll it just a little bit. Once you're happy with the body of your rocket, you want to make sure that every seam of your piece of paper is closed. This is to ensure that air does not escape when we launch our rocket. And you are done with your body of your rocket. Now that we have the body of our rocket, we need to make the cone of our rocket. Using our second sheet of paper, we're going to either freehand cut or trace a big circle using a roller of tape or any other circular object. The size of our circle doesn't matter as long as you are able to cover one end of our rocket's body. So using a pen, I'm going to use the inner circle of our tape. Now we cut this circle out as best as you can. Once you have your circle, you're going to draw a line from the middle of our circle out towards one edge of your circle. Now we are going to cut this. Once you have that cut, you want to grab one piece of tape and we are going to fold the circle into itself like this. Make sure that the cone is small enough. And to hold the cone in place, we are going to use our piece of tape and close it just like this. Now we are done with the cone of our rocket. Then we are going to take our body of our rocket and our cone, and we're going to grab a couple pieces of tape. I'm going to grab 2. And we are going to place the cone of our rocket on one end of our body. Then we are going to use our 2 pieces of tape to secure it in place. And we are done connecting our cone and body of our rocket. Now we're going to work on the fins of our rocket. Using the rest of the paper we used to create the cone of our rocket, we're going to cut 2 to 4 right triangles depending on how many fins you'd like. For the purpose of this video, I'm only going to show how to cut one. I would suggest using a ruler so that your lines are as straight as possible. We are going to cut a right triangle that is the length 2 inches by 1. Now that we have our fin drawn out, we're going to cut it out. Now that we have one of our fins cut out, I'm going to show you how to attach it to the body of our rocket. We're going to cut one piece of tape. And what helps me is to grab our fin, fold just a little tiny bit of your right triangle, place it on the opposite end of your rocket that does not have the cone, and we are going to place one piece of tape on the fin and put the rest of the tape on our rocket. Do this for all of the fins of your rocket that you have. To help us launch our rocket, we are going to build a simple launching station. Begin by stretching one end of our rubber thing over the PVC pipe. We're going to need this to cover about 1 to 2 inches of our PVC pipe. This part is the trickiest and your students might struggle, so this is the section that will require the most amount of assistance. But once you are able to get at least 1 inch of the rubber thing over the PVC pipe, grab your other end of your rubber thing and you are going to place it over the lip of your bottle. The more you are able to get, the more secure the connection will be. If your connection is not as secure as the one that I have right now, you can use some tape to secure it. Now we are going to build supports for our launching station. We're going to grab our 3 popsicle sticks and I'm going to go ahead and cut 3 pieces of tape. Now, we're going to grab one of our popsicle sticks and place it about halfway on the PVC pipe. And we are going to secure it down with tape. Next, we're going to grab another one of our popsicle sticks and thread our rubber thing through our popsicle sticks and make sure that this popsicle stick that you're attaching now is around the same height as the other one that you attached. So here is good for me. I'm going to tape this one down. And we are finally going to do the same thing for our last popsicle stick. This part is also pretty tricky, so you just have to mess with the balancing of your popsicle sticks. Now do a quick test and make sure that your launching station is able to stand on its own. Let's test our Stomp rocket. To test it, we're going to take our launcher and place it in an open area faced away from anybody else. Next, we're going to take the body of our rocket and place it on the open end of our PVC pipe. And let it sit there until you're preparing the launch. Finally, we're going to use our hands or our feet to stomp or press on the middle of the bottle of our rocket. If it automatically doesn't go back to its original form, you can use your hands to do that. Give your students some time to test and improve on it. If your students' rockets don't launch, try to check to see if the body of their rocket is wrapped too tightly around the PVC pipe. If that's the case, just rewrap it just a little bit so it's a little looser. If your students' rockets are launching very short distance, then you can check to see if there are any areas in the rocket where air can escape. This is primarily going to happen around the rubber tubing piece or the seam along the body of the rocket. For the purposes of this video, we're going to be testing our rocket indoors, but when you have your students, make sure that you have a designated area for them to launch their rockets. Yay. Finally, let's talk about how our project works. Our project works because we are propelling our rocket using air pressure. When we stomp or press hard on the bottom of our launcher, air rushes through the tube and into the body of our rocket. In order for the air to escape, the air pressure is going to push our rocket off of the PVC pipe, evidently launching our rocket into the air. Some questions your students can think about to better understand air pressure are: what happens if you stomp or press on the bottle with less strength? What about with more strength? And is there a way to have our rocket land safely onto the ground? We can further improve the design of our rocket by changing the cone design, making it shorter or longer, and by adding or removing some of the rocket's fins.